according to the Trail of Tears Facebook page. Captain Jack, Kintpuash, c. 1837–1873 Modoc Tribe, Oregon, and California. Kintpuash was born near Tule Lake, an area that now straddles the Oregon-California border. The ancestral homeland of the Modoc peoples consisted of 5,000 acres until 1864, when they were forcibly removed by the federal government to the lands of their neighbors on the newly created Klamath Reservation. The Klamath was a much larger tribe than the Modoc, and conflict was inevitable. Now casually referred to as Captain Jack by white colonizers, Kintpuash stood firm. In 1865 he led a band of Modoc from the reservation back to their lands in California. 4 years went by before the United States Army rounded them up again and back to Klamath territory, but Kintpuash was undaunted. In 1870 he marched back home again with 180 of his Modoc kinsmen. The government's outright refusal to allow the Modoc back into their homelands led to the outbreak of the Modoc War from 1872 to 1873. Kintpuash fled with his band into the area now protected as the Lava Beds National Monument, and they settled into this natural fortress. His warriors made use of its many caves and trenches in the lava beds for defensive fighting, and women and children could be sheltered there. When the Modoc were finally located, the Army launched an attack on January 17, 1873. The U.S. Army was beaten in this conflict, but they weren't retreating either. Kintpuash's advisors suggested that the Army would leave if their warriors killed its leader General Edward Canby, the future namesake of the town of Canby, Oregon, but Kintpuash hoped for a peaceful solution that would allow his people to stay in their territory. It wasn't to be. During the next meeting of the Peace Commission on April 11, Kintpuash and several other Modoc broke down and drew pistols at a pre-arranged signal. He shot General Canby twice in the head. For this, he was executed on October 3, 1873. The area of the Lava Beds National Monument where Captain Jack and his men held out against the United States Army is now known as Captain Jack's Stronghold. It took until 1984 for Kintpuash's skull to be returned for proper reburial by his Modoc descendants. He is buried at Fort Klamath Park, Oregon.